In our previous labs, we built the foundation, the domain controller, and our Active Directory environment. But a network isn't just about users, it's about managing resources. Today, we're moving away from the wild west of workgroup printing where every PC fends for itself, and we're bringing that control into our centralized lab. In a home environment, you find a printer, click Add, and it works. In a corporate environment with hundreds of users, that doesn't scale. If you find a printer on a local machine, that computer is doing all the heavy lifting. It has to host the driver, manage the connection, and handle the rendering. If the printer goes down or the driver crashes, you're troubleshooting one machine at a time. A print server changes the game. It acts as a middleman. Instead of 50 computers talking to one printer, 50 computers talk to the server, and the server talks to the printer. This means centralized driver management. Update it once on the server, and every client gets the update automatically. We've all been there. You hit print on a 50-page report and nothing. You see the printer busy message, or worse, your whole computer freezes up while it tries to talk to the printer. This happens because even though that network printer has its own IP address, its brain or internal memory is actually pretty small. When 10 people hit print at the exact same time, the printer's internal buffer just chokes. It can't handle all that data at once. Think of a print server as the ultimate traffic controller. It takes those massive files, parks them safely on the server's hard drive, and drips them to the printer one by one. You get to keep working, and the printer stays calm. We're going to transform this server into a centralized hub that manages our printer drivers and print jobs. This is the managed infrastructure approach. Instead of walking to every workstation to install a printer manually, we're going to set it up once on the server and let Active Directory do the heavy lifting of deploying it to our users. Let's head over to the server and install our first role. First, open Server Manager. Go to Manage and select Add Roles and Features. We are looking for print and document services. Click through the defaults and hit Install. By adding this role, we are officially turning this VM into the brain of our printing operations. Now, before we jump into installing a printer, we need our translator, the driver. I've downloaded the driver package from the manufacturer, but as you can see, this is a massive, complete application file. We don't want all the extra bloatware and status monitors on our professional print server. We only want the bare metal drivers. I'm using a tool called 7-Zip. Instead of running the installer, we're going to extract the application contents directly. This lets us bypass the setup wizard and get straight to the file system. Now that it's extracted, we are hunting for the .inf file. This is the setup information file. It's a tiny text-based file that tells Windows exactly how to talk to the printer hardware. This is the only file the print server actually needs to do its job. I'll make a note of this path, because we're going to point our server directly to this file in the next step. Now that our role is installed, let's add the actual printer to the server's inventory. Go to Tools and open Print Management. Right-click on Printers and select Add Printer. We're going to select the option to add a TCP IP printer using its IP address. Type in your printer's IP. Pro tip, if you're using a fake IP for the lab, uncheck Auto Detect. This stops the server from wasting time trying to ping a device that isn't there, allowing us to move straight to the configuration. Now we've reached the most important part of the lab. When Windows asks for a driver, don't just pick a generic one from the list. We're going to click Have Disk and browse to that .inf file we extracted earlier. Once that's done, our printer is officially live on the server. But right now, it's just a resource sitting there. Next, we need to tell Active Directory who is allowed to use it. Before we deploy, we need to make sure our printer has a clear identity. In a professional setting, we avoid generic names, so we're renaming this device to Office Printer. While we're here, we're checking the box for List in the directory. We've discussed this in our previous sessions. This publishes the printer as an object within Active Directory using the LDAP protocol. It's a crucial step because it makes the printer a searchable domain resource that our group policy can actually see when we move to the deployment phase. Now, let's look at the organizational side of the lab. First, I'm creating a dedicated organizational unit called Printers to keep our directory clean and manageable. Inside that OU, we're going to create a security group called Office Printer. To make this professional, I'm right-clicking the group to add a specific note in the description. This deploys the Office Printer. This follows the identity-based habits we talk about. If a new employee needs access to this specific hardware, we simply add them to this security group, and the automation handles the rest. Now for the intelligent deployment using group policy preferences. First, we'll make a new GPO called Printer. We'll navigate to User Configuration, then Preferences, Control Panel Settings, and right-click Printers. Select New Shared Printer. And browse the directory for our Office Printer. We're setting the action to update. This ensures that if the printer is already there, it stays current, and if it's missing, it gets created. Finally, we hit the secret sauce: item level targeting. Under the Common tab, we check the box and hit Targeting. Why do we do this? Without targeting, this GPO would attempt to map this printer for every single person in the OU. By adding a security group condition and selecting our Office Printer group, we are telling the domain, only run this mapping if the user is a member of this specific group. This allows us to have one global printer GPO that intelligently decides exactly which hardware to give to which person based on their job role. Now, we're going to link this GPO to our California users OU. But here is where the logic we built earlier really pays off. Even though this GPO is now applied to every user in the California department, not everyone will see the printer. Because we used item-level targeting pointed at our Office Printer security group, Windows will perform a quick check during login. If the user is in that security group, the Office Printer maps successfully. If they aren't, the GPO simply skips that action. This allows us to manage our entire state's printing needs from a single policy without cluttering the workstations of people who don't need access. Now it's time for testing to make sure all our hard work actually means something. We have a user named Jeff Blank. Jeff is a member of the California Users OU, where our GPO is linked, but he's currently just a standard domain user. Let's log into his workstation and see what happens. First, let's verify that the policy is even reaching the machine. We'll run gp result/r. As you can see, the global printer GPO is listed under Applied Office Objects. Now, let's go check printers and scanners. The Office Printer doesn't show up. This is exactly what we want to see. Even though the policy applied to Jeff, our item-level targeting blocked the mapping because Jeff hasn't been added to the Office Printer security group yet. Let's fix that. Back on the domain controller, we'll add Jeff to the Office Printer security group. Now, he officially has the identity required to receive this resource. Back at Jeff's computer, we'll run a gp update/force to pull down the latest changes from Active Directory. Now, sometimes a simple refresh isn't enough for printer preferences to trigger immediately in the UI. If it doesn't show up right away, don't worry. We'll just perform a quick restart to ensure the user's security token updates with that new group membership. After a reboot and a fresh login, let's head back to our printer settings. There it is. The Office Printer has been added automatically. No manual installation, no admin prompts, and no IP addresses for the user to remember. Everything is managed, targeted, and deployed through the power of group policy. And there you have it. By moving away from manual installations and leveraging group policy preferences with item-level targeting, we've built a system that is both scalable and secure. We started by extracting the bare INF drivers to keep our server clean, and we ended with a fully automated deployment that adapts to our users' roles. This is the standard you want to aim for in any professional network environment, building systems that do the heavy lifting for you. Jeff Blank got his printer, not because we spent time at his desk, but because our logic was sound. If you found this lab helpful, stay tuned as we continue to build out this environment. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.